Welcome to this video about Gran Turismo 7, where we'll discuss customization. Indeed, Gran Turismo 7, even though it's not the game with the most tuning options in the world, still sometimes offers some pretty original kits. Some pretty extreme customization kits that I'm going to show you today in this video. In today's video, I'm going to show you 10 cars that have unique customizations in Gran Turismo 7, and that can be really radically transformed. If you know of any others, as usual, feel free to mention them in the comments. It'll be a chance for others who come across this to maybe discover some ultra-customizable cars, and it might also give me the opportunity, who knows, to make a second video on this topic. In any case, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I regularly make videos about Gran Turismo 7, and I love making this kind of content. And we're going to start with one of the vehicles I love customizing the most in Gran Turismo 7, and on which I've made a lot of videos. The 2001 Renault Kangoo. Indeed, this vehicle is highly customizable, and you can turn it from a traditional family van into a utility-type vehicle. But with small rims and by replacing the rear windows with metal panels, you can very easily turn it into a full utility vehicle. And there are really a lot of liveries available, including some that refer to La Poste or Darty. And I have to admit, I'm quite a fan of that. In this category, you can also find the Suzuki Carry KC from 2012. This little utility vehicle, this small van that you can turn into two completely different vehicles. So, either you install the wide-body kit, and in that case, you'll have access to a whole bunch of drift-oriented parts. Really ultra-customized in the Japanese style, including a big roll cage in the back as well as a huge spoiler. You'll be able to install it on the roof of the vehicle. But if you don't use the wide-body kit, you'll have access to other customizations that might give it a slightly sporty look, but can also completely change the purpose and usefulness of this vehicle. In particular, you can turn it into a real truck and this is probably one of my favorite customizations in Gran Turismo 7, turn it into a food truck. I don't know why they did that, it's useless but still pretty funny. And this Suzuki Caricase is also one of the vehicles in Gran Turismo 7 with the most customization options, because you can literally change everything on it, including the grille. That doesn't apply to all vehicles in the game. There's another customization that I really like in this game, and that's the customization of the stock Hyundai Elantra N. It's a somewhat sporty sedan with 280 horsepower, and with the right body kit and the right livery, you can turn it into the official Hyundai Elantra N race car. You can literally apply the body kit, the livery, and the wheels from the official TCR race version. There's still one small thing to mention about this car, which is that in the meantime, the developers have added the real race version of the Hyundai Elantra. The TC version, actually. And here, of course, it goes a bit further in terms of racing, since the interior of the car is also race-oriented. However, there's a small detail about this car. You should know that the upgraded road version performs better than the upgraded race version. That's just how it is. It's weird. It's Gran Turismo 7. There's also a customization I think is really cool on the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 8. So be careful, because these generations of Mitsubishi Lancer look a lot alike. And the customizations I'm going to show you here aren't available on the 9 or the 7, which look very similar to it. Be careful. These cars are expensive. The Lancer Evo 8 still costs 40,000 credits. To my knowledge, this car is one of the only ones in the game that you can really turn into a dragster, with the huge spoiler and the full Ultra Sport kit that goes with it. As soon as you apply the kit with the long drags, special livery, and smaller wheels with a big offset, honestly, it's incredibly beautiful. And honestly, when I see this, I think it's a shame that there's no dedicated drag mode in Gran Turismo 7. It's stunning. You can also completely transform the Suzuki Jimny Sierra from 2018. Honestly, by default, it's a vehicle that's not very interesting, especially since we already have another version of the Suzuki Jimny in the game that's more powerful than this one. However, this one still has some unique features when it comes to customization. You can literally turn it into a miniature Land Rover Defender. So here, this one's a bit of a DIY job because you'll have to mix liveries and official in-game parts to make it happen. But if you put the B parts on the front of the vehicle, the B parts on the side, and then apply to it, the horizontal front grille instead of the vertical grille, which makes the Suzuki logo disappear, will allow us to apply styles to it. It simply transforms it into a Land Rover Defender, with extra headlights added on the sides, with little stickers that reinforce the off-road look of the vehicle's bumper. For the back, several Land Rover logos go on the wheel and rear bumper, making it look like a mini Land Rover Defender. Just like the Hyundai Elantra, you'll also be able to transform the Chevrolet Corvette Z06, the C5, which is actually one of the most beautiful Corvettes of all time. You'll be able to turn it into an official race Corvette like the ones we had back in the days of the great Touring 03. For that, you'll have to start by obviously installing the wide body kit. Then you put on wheels in this style, BBS with a big offset. And then you go into custom parts, and you'll literally be able to install a body kit inspired by the race versions from the early 2000s, especially with the Type B wing, which perfectly matches its shape. And you can easily find on Gran Turismo 7 liveries made by other players that precisely recreate its look from back then, with the right colors and the right sponsors. And honestly, the illusion is perfect. Then there are two dad cars in the game. Really ordinary cars that you normally wouldn't pay attention to, but you'll be able to transform them in a very extreme way. The first one is the Honda CR-V, a totally average vehicle. An SUV that honestly, in its stock form, isn't very interesting to drive. It's heavy, it's not very fast. On the other hand, when it comes to customization, the game developers went a little crazy. They added an ultra extreme kit, Kit A, which lets you completely transform this vehicle. And it allows you to add to it. Probably, I think, one of the most extreme aero kits and especially one of the biggest wings in the game. Look at that wing. Look at the size of that thing. It's huge. You'll also find the 2018 CHRS in this category. It's the same at its core. It's not a vehicle that's particularly high-performing. It's a vehicle that's really unassuming. However, as soon as we start putting slightly bigger rims on it and check out the aesthetic customizations, it's going to change completely. Just like the Honda I just showed you, this one is compatible with a huge ultra-extreme body kit that's even more extreme when you put on the wide body kit. With the wide body kit, it's available too, just not as pronounced. And it's also compatible with not just one huge spoiler, but actually two. This one is probably taller, but this one is probably bigger. This kind of thing. Let's say transforming regular cars into versions really inspired by racing. There are quite a few of them in Gran Turismo 7. For example, on the Nissan side, we'll find quite a few examples. For instance, the Nissan R32 in the Nismo version. I'm specifically talking about the Nismo version. By applying the wide body kit, you'll get access to different body parts that allow you to transform it into the JGTC version. That's the Japanese Racing Championship from the 90s. That's especially true for the front of the vehicle, since you'll be able to fit that huge bumper that's really inspired by the JGTC style. For the rear, you put on the Type A bumper, which also features that little fin on the side inspired by the JGTC. And for the spoiler, you need to put on the big Type B spoiler. If you add the right wheels and the right livery, for example, by putting on the official livery of the Assemi Motorsport team, a real livery that existed back in the JGTC days, you really have the racing version of the R32, and it's beautiful. We can do something a bit similar in a different spirit, because of course this isn't a Japanese car, but we can also apply an official racing kit to the 1973 BMW 3.0L CSL. It's the same here. Start by installing the wide body kit. Next, all you have to do is put on 80s style wheels with a big offset and large size, add the safety gear, and use the right livery, like this one, which, with the stickers, adds fake stripes on the rear windows. I think it's incredible, and it's kind of a tribute to the Group 5 versions from back in the day. In the category of cars that are a bit boring by default but have the most extreme aero kits, you'll also find the 2024 Hyundai Ioniq 5N. Basically, same thing, nothing incredible. Except that this car has one of the biggest front diffusers. Seriously, it really looks like it. Almost like the kit from the Suzuki Escudo, which you could probably complete with. Also, this is probably one of the biggest wings in Gran Turismo 7, and just like on the Hyundai Elantra I showed you earlier, you're also going to install official racing customizations. And honestly, it looks amazing. There's a unique custom on the Toyota RAV4 in the game. But be careful. Don't install the wide-body kit, or this customization will vanish. You really need to have the base vehicle, and you'll be able to install this little thing in the side upgrades. With the right livery, you can literally transform the Toyota RAV4 into either a taxi-type vehicle or a pizza delivery-type vehicle. I'm giving a simple example, but there are hundreds of similar liveries in the game, all featuring numbers and codes that evoke the taxi world. And as I mentioned, you can also easily find pizza versions, like this special Domino's pizza livery, for example. You have to wait for the game to zoom out a bit so I can show it to you. And look, a little Domino's logo. And to finish, of course, there's the Mercedes Unimog. So, either you don't install the wide-body kit, and in the customization menu, you'll have the option to add a van-style rear, a bit like what we had earlier with the broken sub-kit, or you install the wide-body kit. Here, you have access to two completely unique modifications in Gran Turismo 7 that are located at the rear of the vehicle. Either you turn it into a motorhome, and that's totally unique in the game, or you put on version A, and that's also totally unique in the game. You can put hay bales on the back in flatbed mode. You see, There are actually quite a few pretty unique customizations in Gran Turismo 7. And honestly, even though I'm only showing you a few examples here, the good news is that Gran Turismo 7 still has the advantage of offering customization on all cars, even if we don't always get as much. Sometimes it's just very simple things. Gran Turismo doesn't do it like Forza, meaning there are no generic parts except for the wings and the rims. The rest are custom-modeled parts for each car, each with at least one installable component. I think that's pretty cool overall. If you know more, leave them in the comments. I might make a part 2 if there are enough. I hope this video showed you some game customizations and inspired you to try vehicles in Gran Turismo 7s. Feel free to leave a like on this video, and of course, don't hesitate to follow me on Twitch. I regularly stream Gran Turismo 7, but also a bunch of other games. The link will be in a pinned comment. Follow and use your Prime to support my channel for free. I'm sharing my instant gaming link below, so you can get games cheaper and support my channel. See you tomorrow with a new video. Bye.